All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever closed a book or finished a movie and just sat there for a second, feeling like that story didn't just entertain you, but it actually changed you, even just a little? Well, today we're going to break down a really powerful method that takes that feeling and turns it into a real, deliberate practice for growing as a person. It's an idea called character therapy.
But first, let's ask a fundamental question. When someone says a person has good character, what do we actually mean by that? Is it just about being a nice person? Following the rules? The way of thinking we're exploring today says that's really just scratching the surface. There's a much deeper, more solid way to understand. And here it is. This is that deeper definition. Real character is about having an integrated personality. It's that moment when what you truly believe, what you think, what you say, and what you do, all of it lines up. It's not just about doing good things. It's about this incredible internal consistency. And that alignment, that is what we mean by inner strength. And this really highlights the big shift in thinking. The old way was all about lectures and rules. It was about someone else telling you who you should be. This new way, though, it's all about stories and self-discovery. It's the huge difference between being told what to be and getting to experience how to be through a story. That's how you get motivation that actually comes from inside you, not from outside pressure.
So this new approach we're talking about, character therapy, is really all about harnessing the incredible power of a story. It lets us discover these virtues for ourselves in a way that resonates and, more importantly, in a way that actually sticks with us.
I just love this analogy. Think about it like this. A great story plants a seed, an idea, a value, deep inside of you. The process we're about to walk through is how you water and care for that seed, how you nourish it until it grows into something real, a strength that actually shows up in your day-to-day life. So you might be wondering, okay, how does this actually work? Well, it's not some vague concept. It's a really clear 4-step journey. It's designed to take a value you see on a page and make it a real part of who you are as a person. Let's walk through it together. Okay, here's our roadmap. It all starts with simply recognizing a value inside a story. Then we dig in and really explore that virtue. After that comes the magic step, internalization, making it part of our own identity. And finally, we have to apply it. And to make this all super clear, we're going to follow one classic story the whole way through. O. Henry's The Last Leaf. So step 1 is all about discovery. When we read a story like The Last Leaf, we're doing more than just following a plot. We're actually seeing values come to life. We see the fierce friendship of Sue and Jauncey, but through the actions of the old artist, Bearman, we get to discover these incredibly powerful core values in action: sacrifice and love. And that discovery really leads us to ask the most important question. Why? Why did he do it? I mean, he was an old man, it was a terrible storm. He certainly wasn't doing it for fame or for money. And asking that why is what pushes us beyond the plot and makes us see the powerful, selfless values that were driving his actions. So, once we've spotted a value like sacrifice, we move on to step 2. We explore it. This is where we go from just recognizing it to really understanding its nuances. Because, and this is so important, not all sacrifice is created equal. And this is where it gets so interesting. Bearman's act, that was a true sacrifice. It was completely selfless, and it was all for someone else's survival and growth. But you can easily contrast that with a false sacrifice. An act that looks good on the outside but is really about getting praise, or manipulating someone, or even creating dependency. This step is all about learning to see that critical difference. Okay, this right here, this is the absolute heart of the whole process. Step 3 is where we internalize the virtue. It's the moment the idea of, say, sacrifice moves from being something we admire in a character to something we actually desire for ourselves. The huge shift happens right here. It's no longer an external rule saying, I should be selfless. It becomes an internal desire. I want to be the kind of person who is selfless. And this is the question that builds the bridge from the story to your own life. You have to ask yourself, if I were there, what would I have done? It forces you to stop analyzing a character on a page and start asking a much deeper question. Deep down, who do I truly want to be? And finally, step 4 is what makes it all real. Because all the reflection and insight in the world doesn't really mean anything until it starts to change how we act. This step is all about turning that internal desire into real, tangible actions. Because character isn't built in one heroic moment, it's forged in the thousands of small choices we make every single day. So let's actually talk about that practice. How do we take these big, noble virtues like sacrifice and love and actually, live them out in our normal, not-so-dramatic daily lives? And this is the most freeing part of the whole thing. You don't need a life-or-death crisis to build character. It's not about these huge, heroic gestures. It's about the small stuff. That integrated personality we talked about at the beginning, it gets built right here, in the hundreds of tiny, consistent choices we get to make every day. So what does that look like? Well, think about a simple checklist like this. None of these are heroic acts, right? Admitting you are wrong, really listening to a friend without just waiting for your turn to talk, offering help before you're asked. These are the small, daily reps. This is the gym where real character gets built.
Now, as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to frame this the right way. This is not some program you just complete and then poof, you're done. This is the start of what can be a lifelong adventure.
Think of it like this. Your character isn't a destination you arrive at. There's no finish line where you get a certificate. It's a continuous journey of growth. The real goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to make progress. It's about trying to be a little kinder, a little more honest, a little stronger today than you were yesterday. And why does any of this even matter? Because of this. One person's character creates a ripple effect. Seriously, think about it. In the story, Behrman's sacrifice didn't just save one person's life. Through that story, it's continued to inspire countless other people for over a century. Your growth is never just about you. It sends waves of hope out into the world. So, we'll end with a question for you. This whole framework is a really powerful tool, but it's just a tool. It only works if you pick it up and use it. So think about a book you love, or a movie that moved you, or a character you've always admired. What story will you choose to be the first step on your own journey of character therapy?